You know that friend who walks into a coffee shop, orders whatever sounds good, maybe grabs a little pastry on the side, and just moves on with their day without a second thought? They see a jacket they like, they buy it. They book a spontaneous weekend trip and feel excited, not anxious. And then there's you. You're standing in the same coffee shop, staring at the menu, doing mental math that has nothing to do with whether you can afford it. You can afford it. That's not the issue. The issue is that weird tightness in your chest when you think about ordering something that costs more than the basic drip coffee. The issue is that you've had 17 tabs open for 3 weeks because you can't pull the trigger on a $30 purchase that you genuinely want and would use. The issue is that even after you buy something for yourself, something as simple as new headphones or a book or a nice candle, you feel this lingering sense of wrongness, like you did something you weren't supposed to do. If any of that sounds familiar, I need you to hear something before we go any further. This does not mean you're bad with money. This does not mean you're broken or weak or somehow flawed in a way that other people aren't. What you're experiencing has a name, it has roots, and once you understand where it comes from, it can genuinely change how you see yourself and your relationship with money. So let's talk about what's really going on here. Because here's the thing most people miss: this guilt you feel, it's usually not about the money itself, it's about identity. It's about worth. It's about rules you absorbed so early in life that they feel like facts instead of beliefs. Somewhere along the way, you learned that spending on yourself was dangerous or selfish or a sign of weakness. And that learning went deep. Think about the messages you grew up around. Maybe money was tight and you heard things like, "We can't afford that," so often that wanting things started to feel shameful. Maybe there was this unspoken rule that people like us don't waste money on things we don't need. Or maybe money wasn't even the real issue, but your family had strong ideas about what made someone a good person, and comfort, pleasure, and doing things just because you wanted to weren't on that list. A lot of people who struggle with this grew up in environments where worth was conditional. You earned love and approval by being useful, by being productive, by sacrificing. You learned that your value was tied to what you gave, not what you allowed yourself to receive. And for some people, this started even younger. Maybe you were the one taking care of younger siblings. Maybe you were the emotional support for a parent who was struggling. Maybe you learned to put yourself last before you even had words for what you were doing. Here's the psychological piece that really matters. In families and cultures where guilt is used as a control tool, pleasure becomes suspicious. Doing something just for you becomes evidence that you're selfish, that you're not thinking about others, that you're somehow taking more than your share. And when you hear that enough times, your brain starts to believe it. It starts to treat your own comfort as a threat. Now, let's talk about what's happening in your brain when you try to buy something for yourself. This is where it gets interesting. When you see something you want, your brain's reward system lights up. Dopamine starts flowing. There's anticipation, excitement, that little spark of, yes, I want that. But then, almost immediately, something else kicks in. Your amygdala, the part of your brain that processes fear and threat, starts sending alarm signals. Your stress response activates, and suddenly you're not just thinking about a purchase anymore. You're in an internal battle between wanting something and feeling like wanting it is dangerous. Research suggests that when we grow up in environments where self-focused behavior was punished or shamed, our brains literally learn to associate treating ourselves with threat. The wiring gets crossed. Pleasure and danger get linked together in ways that don't make logical sense but feel completely real in the moment. So when you feel that knot in your stomach about ordering something nice for yourself, that's not you being dramatic. That's your nervous system doing exactly what it was trained to do. And here's the layer that really gets me. A lot of people who struggle with this have zero problem spending on others. You'll drop money on a gift for a friend without blinking. You'll pay for dinner, cover someone's coffee, buy things for your kids or your partner without that same guilt. But the moment it's for you, everything freezes. That's because the rule was never, don't spend money. The rule was don't spend money on yourself. Don't prioritize yourself. Don't act like you matter as much as everyone else. This connects to something I call emotional overdraft. It's this feeling like you're permanently in debt to the people around you, like you haven't done enough, given enough, sacrificed enough to earn the right to just enjoy something, and until you pay off that invisible debt, treating yourself feels like stealing from the account. The tricky part is that our culture reinforces this constantly. We're surrounded by messages about grinding, hustling, saving, investing, optimizing. The idea that you might just want to feel good, that you might want to buy something simply because it brings you joy, gets treated as suspicious. Like you should always be working towards something, and pleasure is a distraction from your real purpose. Now, I want to be fair here because there are genuine strengths that come with this pattern. People who think carefully about spending are often incredibly reliable. They're generous with others. They're good at planning, at saving, at thinking long term. These aren't flaws, these are real skills. But there's a cost too, and the cost is chronic self neglect. It's burnout that builds slowly because you never let yourself rest. It's resentment that creeps in because you keep giving and never receiving. It's the way you struggle to enjoy things even when you have them because the guilt follows you. And sometimes the biggest cost is that you never invest in the things that would actually help you grow: the course, the tool, the experience, the rest. You talk yourself out of all of it because it's just for you. For a lot of people, saying no to themselves has become part of their identity. You're the responsible one, the selfless one, the person who doesn't ask for much. And changing that script feels terrifying because it threatens how others see you and how you see yourself. If you start treating yourself well, does that make you someone different? Someone less good? Here's what I want to offer you. There's more than one way to find meaning. Some people find meaning through sacrifice and putting others first, and that's valid. But others find meaning by staying healthy, present, and resourced so they can show up more fully for the people they love. Investing in yourself isn't the opposite of being generous. Sometimes it's the foundation that makes real generosity possible. So, what do you actually do with this? Start by reframing some personal spending as maintenance, not indulgence, maintenance. The same way you'd put gas in your car or fix a leaky roof. You're not being selfish by keeping yourself functional, you're being realistic. Try asking yourself this question next time you hesitate. If my best friend wanted to buy this for themselves, would I judge them for it? Would I tell them they didn't deserve it? Probably not. So why hold yourself to a harsher standard? And here's a gentle experiment. Try small, low stakes spending on yourself, and instead of fighting the guilt, just notice it. Get curious about it. Where does it show up in your body? What thoughts come with it? You don't have to fix it right away. You just have to start seeing it clearly. The goal here isn't to become reckless with money. The goal is to have a relationship with spending that isn't controlled by shame and fear, to make choices from a place of clarity instead of old survival patterns. If you feel guilty spending on yourself, there's a reason. Your brain learned that self-focus was dangerous. Your history taught you that your needs came last. Those patterns made sense once. They protected you in an environment where you needed protection. But you're allowed to update the rules now. You're allowed to invest in a life you actually live in, not just one you survive. You're not broken. You're someone who learned to disappear for others, and learning to take up space again, even just a little, is one of the bravest things you can do. If this hit close to home, I think you'll really connect with another video about why you keep saying yes to everyone else and no to yourself. Because this pattern with money, it's usually part of something bigger, something about boundaries, about people pleasing, and about what real freedom actually feels like. I'll see you there.